All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TheoTRADE Chat. It's Don Kaufman here. It's September 12th, a Thursday morning. I don't know what day it is. Thursday morning. Not expecting a lot of volatility this morning. Expecting S&Ps to probably pull in or around this upper edge of the expected move. And I wanted to get to that right up front. Let's go look at the S&Ps for a moment. Some PPI data came out, jobless claims. Markets actually backed off a little bit. You know, although there feels right now like a little bit of a sell side activity in the air, I would not get too hopped up about it. As I was saying just a moment ago, the S&Ps, look, if I were to give you like a little bit of a projection for today, which is exactly what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull back and they're going to sit in kind of the happy place. And for the remainder of at least this week, the some of the fireworks are plausibly over. I mean, we'll see some price action. There's no question about it, but most of that price action is going to revolve around, if you will, like kind of a comfortable level, which makes a lot of sense. So a minute to go to the cash open here. We'll look around again. What's in front of us right now, and the answer is absolutely nothing. There's just not a lot of action in front of us in terms of announcements. NVIDIA, we'll talk about this after the cash open, obviously ruled the roost yesterday. Taking a look at NVIDIA this morning, you are massively unchanged, right? There's no price action in there whatsoever this morning. And here come the S&Ps, kind of as suggested a moment ago. They're coming right into that upper edge of the expected move, which again, we're just going to watch that into the cash open. Not a lot of big movers on the screen right now. Tesla this morning down a bit. There's a few tech stocks that are just a little bit south, but look, it's going to be a slop fest into today's cash open, which you can see represented by the S&Ps. Moreover, the volume this morning, it's all right. We're about to enter the roll. Let's come to the bell. So at this morning's bell, slop fest it is. We're looking at about a 50-50 advanced decline line. You know it, you love it. Okay, it's a 50-50. The fact of the matter is, again, there's a few maybe standouts, but it's nothing that's going to be dramatic for moving markets. If you take a look at Google, just bear with me on this thought for a second. I think that Google is up because there were comments out of Sergey Brin. He's actually back, kind of working at the company day to day. We're going to talk about those comments and NVIDIA's comments because that's what we have, people driving, okay, trillions of dollars of trade to people that have made comments. Actually, if NVIDIA, it was comments made about them that actually drove the market. Speaking of NVIDIA, a little bit of sell side activity in here, but let's not get crazy. So the Nasdaq right now, seeing some selling going on. As I was saying a moment ago, though, look, we're still outside this expected move, right? But we're right in kind of still that window based on all the volatility. We're still definitely in the window. We have not broken through the upper edge of the expected move. We're close to it, though. We're definitely close to it. Even though we're outside the expected move, we haven't like shattered off of this particular level. That's the happy place for trade today. 55.37 and change. And we're almost 20 points north of it. But given the expansive volatility this week, there's no real great surprises in there. So the first 2 minutes of trade, by the way, the fade in NVIDIA worked yesterday right up until the point it exploded to the upside. Actually worked really well in NVIDIA. So we exploded to the upside. So in the first 2 minutes of trade, the only conversation piece in here is a few of the tech stocks are a little bit weak on a relative basis. However, yeah, I have a little buy side activity going on in Meta and Google. Again, as I was describing a moment ago, there were comments made regarding, well, from himself, from Sergey Brin. For those of you who have no idea who the hell I'm talking about, uh, that's basically one of the founders of Google. He is back working. He said he didn't say full time. He said I'm there almost every single day. So he's back actually working on a day-to-day basis. Does that mean much? Probably not, because I am fairly certain that his younger, okay, kind of the predecessors there are the ones really running things, but they keep the old guy around a little bit. By the way, old in the tech industry. What's Sergey Brin in his 50s? Okay, is he in his 50s? He can't be in his 60s yet, is he? That would be crazy. Okay, I think he's actually in his late 40s, early 50s. Okay, I have not looked in a very long time. Sorry about that. I'm watching something here off the side of my screen too. So again, no great expectations for the S&Ps, but I will tell you, the Nasdaq is exploding back on the scene here as I was saying that, and ripping back to the upside. Look, the Nasdaq. Okay, zoom out for just a moment and let's go to a 30-day 1 hour. Again, in a 30-day 1 hour, literally in the last, if you will, few hours of trade, we're trading 18,500 and, change. We're trading now 19,200, almost 300. For the most part, you're seeing, 6, 7, 800 point moves in Nasdaq, depending upon, look, you can look to the earlier, of course, in the week over here to effectively right now, and that's a 900 point move. That is a healthy amount of volatility for sure. No if and or but about that. If you take a look at the S&Ps, and I'll zoom into the exact same time frame in the S&Ps, and again, I want to go from absolute low to high over here. Your S&Ps are trading 5,400, okay, and now they're effectively trading, 5560. So what do you got in here? 160 points of movement. Now the marketplace though this week was expecting, right around this neighborhood. It was $128 move was expected. So to see where we're at right now, not surprising at all. And you go, yeah, but we moved 160 and you just said 128. That's because there's a differential between what we term, oh, there you go. Bryn is 49. I thought it was about the same age as him. Thank you, Kirill. What's great actually about this is oh, sorry, wait, no, 51. Oh, okay, you're wrong. No, that's, I thought, again, so he came over from what is the former Soviet Union, I believe in the early 1970s, if I'm correct. And it was I think it was Gerald Ford did a deal. It was like oil for like almost like Jewish refugees from Russia. Come on, I like this. You guys are like fact checking me over here. Doing this off the top of my head. I am not ChatGPT. I had I have a very close friend here in Arizona that actually came from Ukraine at the exact same time. Basically came over, if you will, like on the same boat as a Sergey Brin. Anyway, S&Ps right now, it's kind of muted out there. So there is quite a degree of volume though trading through. That, people, is a little bit surprising for this morning. Even though it's like early trade or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm a little taken back that we're actually doing any volume whatsoever. Again, I really anticipated this volatility to kind of quiet down, and that volume, this needs to subside for that occurrence. I've also, stated a couple times this morning. Okay, I am totally aware of where we are. And by the way, this is where the week started. Okay, the absolute low from yesterday was where the week started. That right there. Okay, from literally from line to line, is a 128-point move. We actually spurted slightly outside of that. So you got that going for you. Again, if we continue higher from here, let's talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I'm looking for the fact checkers. Everybody's like looking at where did Sergey Brin come from? Anyway, if you're taking a look where we are trading in the S&Ps right now, I will tell you this literally right here is a very critical threshold. If we continue even slightly higher, we could actually explode higher from here. We would see a big surge of volume as well. It's not what I would have anticipated, but it's look, it's the market's going to do what the market's going to do right now. And this, when I say this is a very critical area, the reason I'm saying it's a very critical area is we're right at the cusp, the threshold of breaking. Let me get rid of this line on the screen. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me, thinkorswim. We're right on this critical threshold of breaking away from this expected move. So we're, right at that point where you could just push off. And the reason it's so important to understand that is the way that the market making firms work, okay, is they're going to trade with the dynamics of markets. So what it would imply if we went just a little bit higher than we are, which we're not, you can see it pulling back, but if we go a little bit higher than we are, the market making firms, like literally servers turn on and they go buy, buy, buy. Everybody has to buy. We have to buy because they're hedging delta as we're actually pushing off. Again, I really have absolutely, no qualms in saying it's just not what I would have expected. What do I expect? Even if we pushed off, I still think we'd come right back here. Okay, do a little dance, make a little love, and kind of that's day done, as Tony Rago would say. Now, down the list, some of the usual suspects. Right, there's some price action inside of the dollar. It is not large, but you should look at the dollar. There is funky amounts of volatility in here. Well, I can tell you some of this volatility, of course, is due to the ECB, the European, Central Bank. Christine Lagarde has been speaking throughout the course of the morning, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, you're getting some volatility inside of the dollar. And by the way, that volatility is brought to you by the euro. Oh, couldn't happen to a better product. Anyway, continuing on. Moreover, Christine Lagarde and the European Central Bank have not, in my opinion, had a lot of influence to the bond market because, European Central Bank started talking in here. At 5:30 this morning, there was PPI and there was jobless claims. Anyway, we've actually sold off just a bit in here. There's not, though, a hell of a lot of price action going on in the bond market. We're doing 150,000 contracts. It's not bad at this point in the morning. Okay, as I was saying, down the list, some of the usual suspects. The more pivotal area, and by the way, yes, we see gold, but okay, gold right now threatening to break out, still would need the dollar quite considerably weaker. We'll look for opportunities there as they kind of arise. Anyway, I wanted to talk a bit about financials because you want to talk about some volatility. One of the most interesting things was yesterday. The financials rallied back from an extremely deep hole. Like these are really big moves in financials yesterday. The financials are basically trading 44, okay, 40. They traded all the way down to 43, basically 40. It's not often you see a dollar move inside of the XLF. Although it recovered, the financials were actually still down on the trading session yesterday. And it's one of the more pivotal points to be made. Financials ain't rallying. In fact, let's just back up for a moment. Okay. We by the way, we're not worried about that 44.50 put just yet. So we'll close that when it is opportunistic, but we're not worried about it because we're kind of trapped at the upper edge of the expected move. So when we look at the financials, which have seen some pretty extreme sell side activity, Moreover, you look at the financials, they're basically flat right now on the week. Okay, this is a sector to watch right now. It's a sector, okay, that I think is actually reacting to real, okay, economic woes throughout the course of this week. There have been a number, I wouldn't call them of warnings. Yes, okay, certain banks have actually warned their trading activity was going to be slow. Some of their forecasts have been, a little bit more tame, okay? But I am telling you right now, this in financials is rooted in reality, okay? NVIDIA, let's talk about NVIDIA for a second. Yesterday, okay, this was your rally. So there was a lot of conjecture yesterday that it was rates, okay? And everybody, like, look, I would agree with this. The market basically said, we're going to have a quarter point cut. That's it, okay? Chicken's done. That is what the conjecture was out of a lot of people yesterday. But, and again, I'm showing you the interest rates. It's 87% chance of a quarter point cut. Basically, as I said, chicken's done. The market's basically pricing in a quarter point, done. And that's exactly what I was talking about on last night's video. It's like the market now can move forward. Here's the crazy thing. Positive comments, nothing too specific. Positive comments were made about NVIDIA. That is it, people. Okay. Positive comments were made out of NVIDIA. NVIDIA, okay, which was actually getting beaten up and threatening critical levels, exploded by almost 8% to the upside. Okay. One of the larger moves that we've seen now in recent history to the upside. Okay. To be fair, we've had some pretty, recent history, we're talking like a month. We've had some pretty dramatic moves over here. This, okay, when I talk about like financials, rooted in reality, there's some warnings in there, okay? NVIDIA, all right, living in kind of the dream world, but there was an interesting, I guess, kind of point that I was trying to make yesterday. If you guys remember, yesterday I was actually talking about GM and Ford, okay? And you add those up and it didn't equal like squat. All right, so these two added up, okay? I think we're still like what, 90 billion in market cap. Yesterday alone, NVIDIA actually moved 250 billion in market cap. That's just yesterday. Now, you have to actually pause for a second when you say that, okay? History, okay? Cars, been around, a little while now, 100+ years. If you even included, the full big three, NVIDIA, its price action yesterday, okay? Just the price action yesterday was worth not just more, considerably more. Almost, okay, almost triple what all three big car manufacturers are worth. All right. And this is the reason I'm pointing this out. I'm not trying to, make anybody bearish. Okay. There's no reality rooted in here. What we basically have is an enormous gamma squeeze that occurred yesterday. But look, crap occurred. 250, pushing $250 billion of market cap. That was only in NVIDIA. Then it turned around and actually moved the entire S&P and the entire Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq moving in a range of over 680 points, in a day. It's wild, just absolutely wild. Okay, it's yeah. By the way, the comments, okay, were there were actually a number of comments made at a tech conference, including their own CEO. There's nothing like promoting yourself to cause a $250 billion move in market capitalization. So S&Ps, okay, they're slipping. Again, I'm very surprised how the volume is actually holding up this morning. Like there is a certain intensity to today's trade that I personally don't think should exist. Like, why is there so much volume this morning? I actually do not have an answer. Okay, I don't think anybody would at this point. There might be a little bit more volatility packed in here than I perceived. But again, the one thing I've obviously been steadfast on, I came in the first 2 seconds and said, just get ready for us to to come on home. Then maybe things kind of die down. But by the way, don't read into this. This is down 11. They're going to sell them again, man. Maybe, but not just yet. So you have again a sector is what I would term rooted in reality. Okay, and then a wild figment of our imagination that's moving $250 billion of market cap in one product in a day. And that, people, is some wild crap. I mean, some really, really wild crap going on in this marketplace. I make no two ways about it. Like, I maintain positions in NVIDIA. Okay. This is one of the more shocking moves in here. Almost, okay, feeling like they were trying to not just save NVIDIA, but save the marketplace to some extent. But it is what it is. Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, some information has leaked out of OpenAI. OpenAI, which, again, for those of you that have no idea, OpenAI, right? And it's okay if you're not, like keep up on OpenAI. That's ChatGPT. They are the manufacturers of ChatGPT. They are owned in large part by Microsoft. 49% of the company is actually owned by Microsoft. When Microsoft bought in to OpenAI, okay, hasn't been that long, okay, the valuation has subsequently doubled, okay? So what do you mean? Well, ChatGPT is looking at, okay, a fundraising round. They're going to raise 5 billion, okay, in the next round, meaning they're I'm selling my soul, and that funding round is going to go out at about $150 billion, which is precisely double the valuation from only a few months back. It's more than a few months ago. It's like about a half a year. Anyway, 6 months and you're worth double. Did anything materially change in the company? No, their CEO almost got booted, but Microsoft, saved the day. Nevertheless, it's a pretty steep valuation. So they're going to raise $5 billion. And then they're also going to have a $5 billion credit line. The reason I'm actually bringing this into scope, because you're like, oh, who the hell cares? They're not even public. That's exactly the reason I'm bringing it up. They're not a public company. Okay. And we're home. Anyway, they're not even a public company. There are, I should say this, I can't get it out. I gotta get more coffee. I was hanging out actually over at the hotel. I'm not at the hotel right now. I stayed at my place last night. Okay. Not going to stay in a damn hotel. When I was like younger, I'd be like, oh, we're going to the hotel. I don't want to stay in a hotel anymore. Does that mean you're old? Okay. When you don't really want to stay in a hotel? Stay there tonight. But I was actually hanging out with Tony Rago. Got to see Roman last night. A couple of the people are starting to come in from TheoTRADE. I heard Gianni is actually in town. He got in late last night, so Gianni's actually probably thrilled to stay in a hotel. That's a new baby still at home, so getting out, okay, is good. Anyway, don't talk about germs, man. It's a clean hotel. It's a clean hotel. All right. Anyway, yeah, yada, yada, yada. I'm tired today. Just hanging out with Tony, saw Roman, and I'm exhausted. I actually got back at like 8 o'clock last night, okay, to a pile of kids I had to actually do a science experiment. So I get back to our place last night, and my middle child's like waiting for me. He's like, we have to make a giant electromagnet. So, of course, me being a little bit of an idiot, I was thinking to myself, kind of like if you saw, oh my gosh, the Breaking Bad. If you saw Breaking Bad, you remember in like one of the latter episodes, they made a giant electromagnet. So he was supposed to basically make an electromagnet that could actually pick up like a couple of paper clips. Oh no. I could have picked up a child if that child had metal on them with that thing that I built yesterday. But I did electrocute myself a little bit with it too. So that happened. Okay, that definitely happened. It's good stuff. Okay, Science experiment. I can't wait until we get into the deeper areas of chemistry where I can show them to make homemade nitroglycerin. They should actually evaluate the psychological state of anybody that's allowed to have a minor in chemistry. Okay, have a minor in chemistry. It's good. It's a good minor. Okay, you can walk around the house and build stuff. Okay, blow stuff up. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah. Uh, the giant, the giant magnet. So we did that, and I didn't quite use a car battery, but not too shy of that either. So my house is being rebuilt, and there's all kinds of stuff laying around the house, from like really like thick gauge, like 6 gauge kind of wire, which is a big huge chunk. There's everything. But I was actually surprised that they had a very significant battery. They were actually testing some of the wires. I just borrowed the battery last night. I brought it back this morning. Okay, it wasn't like a car battery, but again, it wasn't far from it. It was good. So I got energized a little bit. It's good. It's good. Ooh, magnesium burn. Oh no, yeah, I learned how to do thermite reaction. That was like high school. Come on, we're so far past that. Magnesium though is fun. That's good stuff too. I haven't showed the kids that. I've showed them thermite though. That's always a fun one. Go to your local Home Depot, you're asking for stuff, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, I'm probably on some type of federal watch list." You know, he's making thermite in his house. That is, by the way, one of the most impressive reactions ever. You have no idea what I'm talking about. So they used to weld um, railroad tracks together. That was like one of the initial uses for it. Huh? Hmm. Ooh, hook it up to a Tesla battery. Okay, that's good stuff. Oh yeah, yeah, William. We did volcanoes, like exploding volcanoes, and we were doing that crap for them in third grade. Okay, we're in sixth grade now. Okay, now we're into thermite. All right, that's it is what it is. Okay, we can weld railroad tracks together now in sixth grade. It's up tempo these days. Um, S&P's just going to be flirting with this expected move. Okay, so as I was saying about NVIDIA, there's, you start to lose a little bit of reality, but there's actually a place I was going with this. So OpenAI is going to go through a $150 billion valuation round. And the reason I'm bringing that to your attention is there's no longer, in my opinion, any meat left on the bone for IPO. IPOs, okay, may never really work again for retail traders. I know that it's kind of weird to say that, but it's just it could be in a very, very long time before like an IPO comes out. And I'm actually asking you guys, okay, a literal question. I mean, I could ask my AI assistant this question, but let's see if anybody can name. Can anyone here name an IPO that has come out, for instance, in the last, let's say, 5 years? Okay, there are some, but is there anything in the last 5 years that has come out and has performed, okay, wildly positive in the markets, okay, after going into its initial public offering? I really I feel and have deep fear that the whole like legend of IPO has completely diminished into nothing. That private equity, venture capital, and tech, okay, has for the most part destroyed all of that. Okay, so ARM, okay, ARM is an interesting one to discuss for those of you not aware. Okay, but ARM, yes, it's a public offering in here, already owned by tech, but I'll give you this one. I will give you this one. But if you actually know anything about ARM, okay, everybody was invested in here prior to. Okay, but this one is definitely up. Okay, here we go. Not hood. There's a couple. All right, there's a couple, but we're talking about, you know, snow is not one of them. All right, not even close. So I just wanted to bring that one up because somebody had mentioned snow. Okay, that one's not gonna work here anymore. Oh yeah, Peter Thiel. Is it Thiel or Teal? Like not like you guys can tell me. So this one, okay, questionable at best. And by the way, the founder of this would say that himself. um, this one's questionable at best. So if you asked us 18 months ago, the answer was absolutely not. It is lifting right now, but this is not a wildly successful like IPO. Okay. If you did look at the IPO, basically came out at 10 bucks. It is 3 times that right now. Most of that, though, in terms of returns, has been in the very short. But again, at this particular moment in time, we'll give you that one. Okay. The point that I'm trying to make over here, the best of the pickings, okay, is literally the best of the pickings is literally picked through. And sometimes you get some positive price action, like again with a number of different IPOs, but generally speaking, okay, performance of them is horrific. So historically speaking, and Jeff Bierman has actually done a lot of studies on this with his school, but generally speaking, when you look at IPOs, 85+% of those IPOs never reach their IPO price. It's substantially higher right now, meaning like if something comes out at 40 bucks, it never sees $40, ever again. Those numbers are immeasurably higher right now than they have been historically speaking. And my concern is, and again, I'm not just pointing out, the IPO market, the IPO market right now is completely non-existent. And the reason the IPO market is non-existent right now is anything worthwhile coming out, especially in tech, is gobbled up by the big tech companies before it ever gets a chance to go IPO. It's pretty evident, okay, that ChatGPT, OpenAI, in my opinion, is absolutely headed towards, okay, an initial public offering. It will likely be the single largest initial public offering ever. Can you imagine that we could have a firm that could theoretically come out as an IPO anywhere from $500 billion on up? So I argue that that could be possibly even larger than that. The only thing, you know, Saudi oil company was, a similar situation. But I do believe that OpenAI could be the biggest IPO in history, not only to the amount of capital they're going to raise, but literally the valuations that they'll have. So it's crazy, like right now. But I'm not sure there's going to be any opportunity, much left on the bone after that. So private equity and they're on it. Okay, they're on it, and most of the time, what you're seeing, okay, is after private equity and venture capital has had their way with these companies, they're going IPO to make the exit for themselves, okay, somewhat easier, or to unlock, if you will. They call it unlocking valuation. Okay? It's interesting to say the least. So again, I would not read into any of the price action on the screen right now. This is basically playing out exactly the way that we had anticipated. There is one caveat, though, in today's trade. Well, actually two, but they kind of go hand in hand. Okay, two caveats here that go hand in hand. One, the volume in the S&Ps is considerably larger than I would have anticipated. It's starting to drop off. Obviously, it's going to be like, a little news in here. But the other aspect I didn't see coming, you have volatility lifting again to some degree. Okay. Now, again, I wouldn't read too deeply into that, but I am definitely surprised that vol is lifting again. Okay. Whatever we saw in price action yesterday, I said, maybe not rooted in reality. Some of that reality is kind of seeping back in. The advanced decline line is very decisive. It's negative. Okay. The ticks this morning, okay, are less decisive. They're scattered. They're disconnected. They're broken. Okay. There's nothing too definitive out of trade here. You have the energy sector continuing its trend to the downside. Speaking of energy, it too rallied back with the market yesterday, okay, but it's slipping. Obviously, if you look at the financials, there's slippage inside of the financials as well. The market right now, okay, belongs once again to NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, the reason is you're like, well, but Meta's up too. Yes, but NVIDIA, $3 trillion market cap. In fact, to specify, okay, you're at actually $2.9 trillion of market cap right now. So tech is kind of holding it together. A little slippage out of Microsoft, a little slippage out of Apple. Speaking of Apple, I still have, just bear with me here for a second. I still have a one lot on in Apple because I took off my contract size earlier this week for a 30% gain. And then as I told you guys, like I was going to let the other, I left a one lot on just to kind of like let fly. Let's like see how it goes. And well, you're seeing it's down. Okay. But I like it. It's not over yet. I still got today. I got tomorrow. Could be some sell side activity. It's probably over and done with. Okay. But I think it helps you guys learn about management styles. Okay. When you see that kind of did both. I bailed out of it early, took a 30% gain. Okay. Left the the remaining one contract on for a little bit of a shot in the dark on that one, which is good stuff. Okay. Sorry. Are we really talking about like ChatGPT? Okay. Which model do you use, man? Okay. Are you a free ChatGPT user? Okay. Or are you a special one that pays $20? Okay. I have to tell you, there's been a lot of improvements on there recently. A lot of improvements. We're like, damn, okay, it's talking to me like it knows what it's doing because it does. All right, onward. A couple of stocks that are in the news. One of them actually today. We were just talking about ARM a minute ago. ARM, okay, once again on the bid. So ARM has got a bid underneath it this morning, and that has faded. Now that is interesting. Okay, very interesting. So ARM is kind of heading back up a little bit. Take a look at Moo. Micron is taking a fairly sizable hit. This one, okay, is due to a downgrade. Okay, so Moo being downgraded. Again, I'm pointing these out not because it's bullish or bearish. Take a look at Micron though. I think that this is a fairly critical level. I'm going to watch that one closely. Also in the news today, Delta. Okay, wow, that erased itself. Holy crap! So Delta had a huge bid under it in pre-market. Huge bid. Look at this in pre-market. This thing's trading almost 47. Now it's trading 43. Well, that happened. Okay. No one likes an airline. Let's go take a look around the airline industry. Even though airlines, like, by the way, I'll also throw this out. When you talk about airlines, you talk about market cap, you could add up all the airlines together, all of them together. Okay. That didn't equal the market cap of what like NVIDIA is moving today. That's how crazy we've gotten, right? NVIDIA could just throw an offer like, we're going to buy airline. What airline? All of them. Okay. With what? The proceeds from the movement in the last 25 minutes. Like, are you kidding me? Right? We've lost our way. Reality is pretty far away when, Southwest, and I'm not picking on Southwest, $17 billion company. Okay. Start looking at Delta. Delta's big, $28 billion company, right? Crazy small in the bigger scheme of things. Obviously I could pull up American Airlines. American Airlines, also huge reversal in here. I'm kind of pissed. I should have been part of that. I could have been somebody. By the way, American Airlines, that's not doing very well. Not gonna work here anymore. All right, onward. There's a couple of stocks. Oh, here is actually a very positive story, which is SIG I saw was up in the pre-market dramatically. Now this, by the way, if you're not familiar with Signet Jewelers, they own a lot of different brands. I think it's most of the mall brands like Zales and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not using ChatGPT. Okay. I'm all about like the I didn't watch the presidential debate thing, okay? But every like fact check yourself, okay? Screw it. Just make it up as you go along. No, I'm pretty sure they own Zales and everything. But here's an interesting one because in the previous earnings announcement, it was pretty gloomy. They made it pretty gloomy. Here was they outperformed sucking. That's I think the best way to describe this is they sucked a little bit better than had anticipated, or a little bit worse. I don't know how you want to look at it, but okay. The reality, okay, the reality of it is it didn't suck quite as bad as the marketplace anticipated. Stock actually popped, but that is positive sign for the economy overall. Jewelry is something to watch, okay, but I guess from my perspective, the economy right now is really fractured into two pieces. It's, this is one end of it. Here's the other end of it. Dollar General. It's worth bringing up. And here's another one that was actually in the news today. Okay. no one's no one feels sorry for Moderna. Moderna is spending a tremendous amount. Their burn rates are really big in R&D. So we are coming into some of the biggest and baddest lows that we've seen in quite some time. Moderna, though, driving themselves into the financial ground with R&D right now. That's yeah, you got that going for you. All right. Yeah, no. Corella was asking a little bit about gold. Okay, I mean, gold at this point. Uh, this thing has been flat. And by the way, I have not and did not want to build the bullish trade in here. One of the reasons I did not want to build a bullish trade in here is I don't trust the dollar as far as you can throw it right now. No feel for this. No feel whatsoever for the dollar, which really has kind of imploded my hopes and dreams of wanting to trade gold right now. And by the way, that's okay. There's times where you're going to have feels for products and there's times you're not. Okay. If I don't have a feel for the dollar, there's no way in hell I'm not touching gold. I'm even a little shy right now in terms of oil. I often ask myself, is oil up right now or is just the dollar down? Anytime I look at the biggest and the baddest of commodities, okay, whether it's gold, and a lot of people are like, gold's not a commodity, man. Okay, it's what I'm going to use to pay for stuff in the weird future. In the dystopian future, okay, where you have Bitcoin and like gold. Let me tell you, in the dystopian future, okay, there's no Bitcoin. There's no Bitcoin. There's not going to be any computers. Come on, we're going to go like Mad Max. You're going to have to exchange gold coins, okay? And after the inflation, it's going to take like a full size one gold coin, like an ounce of gold, for like a loaf of bread. That's my dystopian future. I like the Mad Max thing though. Okay. Get to drive cool vehicles. I'm all about that. It's good stuff. So yeah, gold right now. And the reason I'm saying, I don't have a feel, like if the dollar just starts to trickle back up just a little bit right now, which it very well could, especially since, Christine Lagarde was yapping earlier today, that would drag, gold back down for all intents and purpose. It's a really, I think gold is a tough trade right now. Moreover, you don't, or you shouldn't, if you will, have some of the inflationary concerns that you had. Although inflation, though, okay, it's still at like 3.2%. And by the way, there's so many like freaking numbers that come out with inflation, like CPI. Okay. They're like, oh no, if you exclude energy and this, it's only at 2.5, but it's really closer to 3.2. And then if you actually calculated it the way we did, 40 years ago, it's much higher than that. So don't worry if you don't like the situation, change the calculation. The reality is I'm not totally convinced that inflation is over and done with, but it is what it is. Okay? And they are going to start to lower rates. And as we lower rates, though, well, you have to play wait and see. companies in the S&P 500, if they're performing well now, okay, is the economy going to pull them back? Are they going to perform better? Like a quarter point cut's not going to have like anything, it's not going to impede upon the life of like Nvidia at all. It's going to have no bearing whatsoever. But okay, like a Dollar General over there, how's that going to impact Nvidia? It's probably not. Look at this, the S&P is coming back up over here. Boy, there's some big volume, big volume. This is the kind of volume that is going to push these S&Ps possibly and plausibly outside that expected move comfort zone. Okay, there is big boy volume on those S&Ps right now. Yeah, that actually that was big enough that it felt newsworthy. Again, not too concerned about the S&Ps, right? Because again, they're slopping around right now, the flat line, but that was some huge size that went through in the last minute. You're doing over 10,000 contracts in a minute, okay? At a weird time like that, sure, there'd be comments, there could be some news, who cares? What you should care about right now is not what caused this, but that you were about, okay, to break to the upside. And as I said to you guys, look, everybody, if we break above these levels, everybody has to hedge in the dynamic of the marketplace. Okay, and we're there right now. All right, onward and upward. Okay, so I covered most of the stocks I wanted to cover today. RMU, okay, mRNA. The last aspect, obviously looking at today is a couple of the trades that we've got on. Again, price action here, scattered, okay, kind of disconnected. That rally in the last 4 or 5 minutes over here, this is it right now too. We're breaking above the SPX expected move. Like I don't have any question now because the volume is just in the S&Ps, the volume is just continually surging. Those are really big sizes to come out of here. So again, flirting, all right, flirting with breaking off the upper edge of the expected move could leave us in a pretty precarious place. I'll remind each and every one of you that in the last few weeks, let's actually zoom into this for a second, okay? That is a breach to the upside. That's basically a nothing, but it is a slight breach, okay? This is a 3 sigma beast to the downside. And now we're seeing, once again, a little bit of unruly trade to the upside, okay? The market right now is not handicapping forward volatility well. Like what I'm saying that is in the short duration, even though volatility was amped this week, like volatility this week, expecting a $128 move, okay? Now the week is not over, but right now it's not correct. We're moving much more than $128, much more than $128. To this line is $128, okay? Now you got to add what, another 20, 30 bucks to that? And it's almost $30. You're almost a 150 point move, almost 150 points. It's over right now. 150 point move on the week, and still actually progressing a little bit higher. And that's something like, look, it's too early to say like we're going to break outside the expected move. We did break outside the expected move, but the week isn't over. Remember, probability in here, these expected moves. Expected move is a probability of expiring. Probability of touching, okay, is almost double. So to be out here right now doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot other than the fact that, hey, we're exceeding expected move. At the end of the week, like on a Friday, though, that crap matters. Okay, so the moves are huge right now. Meanwhile, okay, you all throughout next week, and I just want to bring this up, we're already down to $122 expected move. Well, what gives? We're in a week where we're moving 150 bucks, and now for next week, we're already projecting 122. Okay, this is exactly why I'm saying you got to be very cautious. It's one of the reasons I track these expected moves so carefully, because they tell you more about what's going on in the marketplace than any other aspect that I can look at right now. Speaking of what's going on in the marketplace, the financials still refuse to have a positive day. This, you would think, would have a bigger bearing on markets. Financials, though, only up about 17%. Just wanted to show you the spiders. Spiders are up 17%. So the financials are in line with the spiders. The QQQ, want to know something really interesting? The Qs right now, because everybody's like, it's the tech stocks, it's the tech stocks. Did you know that the Nasdaq is underperforming outperforming the S&Ps right now. How about that? Okay. Didn't see that one coming, did you? And then you have, of course, the energy sector, which is doing squat, but like literally the Nasdaq is the underperformer right now, uh, with stuff like Nvidia, which was up almost 200%, only up about 150% right now. I mean, look, that's the stock. Okay. That is the stock. And I'm going to have to guess we have definitely broken the upside. Yeah, there's some call buying going on. Nothing too crazy though, but there's some call buying going on in Nvidia again. I mean, we're doing some huge size though in here, 1.5 million contracts. Tesla, okay. Tesla's always kind of in play. There's no wild activity going on, but doing about 700,000 contracts. And there's nothing to see here. Okay. I mean, you have a marketplace. Once again, it belongs to Nvidia. There's a side order of Google and Meta that go with that. Okay. Today it's basically, you know, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 stocks. Even Tesla I would kind of count out. It's only 1% move, but it is it's tech and tech alone. It's actually the primary driver of markets. And you know, in looking at markets, like to be honest with you, when you have a $3 trillion market cap, okay, I know Jeff Bierman's taking Jeff Bierman's taking the day off. He's not actually really taking the day off. Bierman's actually going to fly. He has to teach a class and then he has to fly out here to Arizona. But Bierman taking a day off, I'm sure he was like, but it's Campbell's soup, man. Campbell's soup is what's driving this damn market. Okay. And I would say to Jeff, what the hell is wrong with you? That would be the first thing I would tell him. And then I'd proceed to display to him exactly what's wrong with him. Anyway, the volume has really picked up. We surged outside the expected move. We'll see if this kind of continues this morning. So the only thing I really have on, I have on XLU. HYG is dead. So XLU. Let's bring up XLU. Survey says massively unchanged. XLU is still very much on the dance floor. It's not really making much. It's not losing very much. I don't mind saying it's down like 20%. By the way, 20% is nothing in out spread terms. So don't you worry about a thing in there. Then, okay, I got to come over to one of the TheoTheta portfolios. TheoTheta, ladies and gentlemen, we have, okay, in one of the TheoTheta portfolios. Let's open up everything in here. We have a put. Okay, this is the 4350s. These 4350s, these are up about 44%. This is very close in the TheoTheta small portfolio to being rolled. I don't have any puts in here. I got no puts in here. Now, okay, another portfolio, another portfolio, this little monkey right here, we have these 4450s. So what I'm going to do with these 4450s, because they're up 60%, I'm going to buy them back. Okay, I'm going to roll them just a little bit, just a skosh, right? But that was money that, whatever, we made, you know, like $200 on those. We sold premium against premium we already had on. So we'll definitely have an opportunity, most likely to roll those. And when I say that they have to be rolled, problem is these 5250s, they have 64 days left. And if I sell puts further out in time, I'm going to have to roll the 5250s too. Why? Because what I'm doing in here is margin relief. Okay. Because I basically have them in the same expiration. It's not equating to more margin. So my margin in here is under $12,000. If I bought back the puts and sold puts further out in time, which I'd love to do, but if I do that, okay, it's going to create more margin, and less margin is what I'm looking for, not more margin. So you can see I'm 64 days out, and I could buy these little monkeys back for like $9, but I'm not sure I want to roll them to like the 4800s. Let's get crazy. I could roll them. Like I could actually buy these back, okay, and roll in one transaction for like an $8 credit. I don't know. That trade sucks. Trade sucks. I may buy these back, sit tight, and look to roll these 5250s. I may actually look at the roll right now. Okay, let's look at the roll live. So here we are, buy those. Oh, I love the bid offer spreads in there. That's it's not gonna work here anymore. Anyway, I would have to knock these things out to 127 days. By the way, whenever you're looking at this, thinkorswim, the expirations in here, just they're terribly labeled, terribly labeled. But I would maybe move this 127 days out. But if I rolled from the 5250s, what could I roll to right now? And the answer is, okay, not a whole hell of a lot. So this spread is wrong. Okay, these options are very poorly priced right now. I would have to go back and get a market. Let me go back in here and try to figure out a real market for these. Yeah, these are not even trading for, but this is ridiculous, the bid offer spread. Okay, I have to call the CME because they're giving us what we term no market on here. Like this is an option that's honestly should be trading 250s for about 300 bucks. They're marking it at like, 430, but really that option is closer to like 320-ish. Okay, not even. And somewhere around like 320. So if you look at this option, it's probably trading about $320, and I can get an accurate market on it. So buy that back for 320 bucks, going out here 127 days and looking for something to sell against it. And I might be able to roll this, the 5400s or even the 5450s. I might be able to push it $100, $150 out of the money. Okay. I don't think I can get it $200 out of the money. I think these 5400s might be reasonable. That's actually a big push. If I can do that, I will. I know I've only got 64 days left on here, but the roll actually looks pretty decent in here. Buy this back, roll this, and then sell another put. And the put that I'd sell would actually be further out in time. So that's something I'm going to evaluate this morning and take a detailed look at that trade. Anyway, as I get into this here, and I do apologize if for some of you, you're a little lost on that one. Not everybody has that trade on, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit more insight, if you will, okay, to how I'm looking at a given position. That's tough position, but I'm in a position right now where I realize if I roll these things to like the 5400s, okay, 5400, that's where we were just trading there. Like if I roll to the 5400s, like I could be somebody. I could be somebody. Look at this. We were just trading there. Like yesterday we were trading at 5400. We could be back at 5400. There's hope. Okay. Like Costanza, it's like wearing sweatpants. Okay. There's no hope. There's no hope. Wearing sweatpants out in public. That's pretty much me. All right. There's hope. Anyway, the S&P is kind of flattened out a little bit over here with absolutely nothing going on except NVIDIA just continues to climb. Okay, it's good stuff. Good stuff. The fact of the matter is your marketplace belongs to NVIDIA. It's not helping either that people like Elon Musk just tweeted, I think it was earlier in the week, he tweeted about, he put online with Grok, the largest large language model training system ever. They have, I want to say it's 100,000 or 200,000 H100s. Yeah, it's 200,000 H100s. Crazy amount of GPU. Compute, people, compute. That was actually a little bit off today. Yeah, there's not a whole hell of a lot to look at. We're sloptastic here, people. And I'm going to wait for a little bit more clarity before I start to execute a bunch more trades. The only thing that's I'm really kind of concerned about right now, some of the premium selling stuff, I need to roll where I need to roll. That's about it. There's a bid back into Meta as well. And I continue to reiterate, Meta to me is one of the best shorts in the marketplace because they're not selling H100s, okay? What's Meta really selling? Well, I brought this up earlier in the week and I'll bring it up again. They're selling 95.3% of advertising. Oh, what happens if advertising revenue goes down? If you guys haven't ever played with this before, okay? Let's say advertising revenue, just for example, goes down. Okay. What happens to their stock? Oh, it should be a $357 stock. Okay, it's not going to go that much down. Let's say, by the way, this is all fundamentals. Okay. They lose a little bit. It's only going to lose like 100, 150 bucks. Okay. I love doing this. Let's say it goes down to here. Zero. It's look, if they have no advertising revenue, apparently the company is still worth 83 bucks. Okay. How the hell is that possible? All right. Trefis thinks they're worth 527. And right now they're at 521. It's good stuff. Okay. So questions, comments, anything? Okay. Yeah, no, I think that Meta is actually going to be a decent short at some point. All right, we're going to bring on Blake Young here momentarily, as I'm actually going to pack up a little bit of gear and head over to the hotel at some point. Anybody here actually in Arizona, outside of maybe Gianni and everybody that we had to fly in? Who's here? Okay, who's here? Anybody here? Um, Post squeeze stress disorder. Okay, that's apparently that's it's a real thing. I had no idea. Anyway, we'll bring on Blake Young in just a minute. Meanwhile, Todd is actually golfing right now in Ireland. So Todd Sweet will miss our event because he decided that golf in Ireland was significantly more important. I'll give him a pass on that one. Very well might be. So he's shooting us pictures right now of the golf course there. Okay. Anyway, yeah, a couple people are actually here already. Fantastic. So yeah, we'll you guys will get the agenda for the meetings later today. Later today, we're basically running on Friday. You're running about 9 to about 5:30, and then on Saturday, 9 to about 4. They're pretty packed sessions. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll bring on Blake Young here momentarily. Look, the S&Ps have completely flattened out. We're basically, just outside that expected move. Pretty critical point. Looks like we actually broke back to the upside. But I have to tell you, there's not a lot of weakness out there. Okay, but there's definitely some sectors defecting. It's now the volatility makes a lot more sense. Look, this marketplace is, Nvidia and tech that's dragging behind it versus the world. So stay tuned. I will bring on Blake Young in just 1 minute.